Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, Functional Medicine Centers. Welcome. I'm going to talk to you today about testosterone, talk to you about aging, and what is actually going on with so many people that are having testosterone, estrogen even, progesterone, all these hormone imbalances. And I'm going to let you know exactly what you need to be doing in order to get those hormones in the right range. Whether you are a male or you're a female, this is very, very important. So stick with us through this process. Everybody jumping on, if you haven't already, like or follow our page. Also, go ahead and pop down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see it all over the country, all over the world. We see people all the time. Let me get this set up. All right, good deal. So here we go. Testosterone. Give me a thumbs up if you guys have had your testosterone done, if you've taken testosterone, thought about testosterone, and what is actually, where everybody's at with this thought process here. Because here's what we're looking at is testosterone is getting thrown around like candy nowadays. I actually see, this is amazing, I see more women that have testosterone replacement therapy than I do see men. Hey Eric, good to see you. So we see more women taking testosterone than men. This is amazing if you think about it, because in theory, it's a what? It's a male hormone, but everyone needs testosterone. Whether you are a male or you are a female, you both need testosterone. So stick with me, men and women here, and we'll get through both of those. So here's what happens. Testosterone levels, you get it tested, you're 30 or 35 or 40 or 50 or 60, whatever it is, and they go, oh, your testosterone's low, let's give you this pellet, let's give you this cream, something to be able to get your testosterone up. But is that fixing anything? No, that's not fixing anything. Women, you can start getting chin hairs. Men, you actually start making more estrogen. All these other problems start happening when all people do is just go on testosterone or hormone replacement therapy. No one is taking a step back and figuring out why they're low testosterone in the first place. So that's what I want to go over today. I want to show you exactly why women have low testosterone and then why men have low testosterone as well. So ask questions down below. If you guys are taking testosterone, if you've been told, we've had people that comment and they say, I'm supposed to be between 150 to 250. Yes, I did the cream and then it was too high. Yeah, I bet you were over 200 if you were taking the cream. And that's, so get this. I see guys, their testosterone is low, and so the guy competing for New Zealand in the weightlifting as a female, his testosterone, I think it has to be below 200. I've seen guys under 200 come in. And then women, they can't compete over whatever their level is, somewhere around 200 as well. And I've seen women on testosterone replacement therapy that couldn't compete as a woman in the Olympics. So we're so discombobulated as a society as far as hormones go. Naturally, just how people are depleting their systems, it's going down, but then artificially they're ramping it back up as well. So women, listen to this. This is why the majority of women have low testosterone. You can go two ways with your hormone production, and I've talked about this before. I've got a video where I drew it on the whiteboard. If you go this way and you're going to make progesterone and then cortisol, give me a thumbs up if anyone has ever heard of stress. Anybody ever heard of stress? Jobs and cars and kids and COVID and presidents and whatever somebody wants to stress about, we've got those stressors on there. So we can make cortisol, which is the main stress hormone, and it's going to go down this pathway. The other pathway, there's some thumbs up, some of you guys have had stress before, and then the other pathway is going to be DHEA, testosterone, and then estrogen. I just had a lady today that we looked at. Her testosterone said less than 2.5. Her estrogens were all less than. They were all too low. And her cortisol, though, was fine. And she was in the chronic stress. She'd had multiple funerals this past year, a lot of stressors going on. So her body was stealing going down this way and stealing it from her sex hormones, basically. So her DHEA was low, her testosterone was low, her estrogens were low, but her cortisol, she was in this chronic fight or flight. So that's why I've said in the past that testosterone deficiency is basically between your ears, not between your legs issue. And that's a big part of what's going on, is that we have this chronic stress state going on, stealing our hormones. Hey Monica, good to see you there in Tennessee. Stealing our sex hormones. The body says, you know what, screw it. I can be, I can procreate, have sex, whatever later, but right now I need to survive. There's a mountain lion. For those of you out here in the Mountain West, you understand what I'm saying. But if somebody's back east, you may not know mountain lions. But mountain lions, these big cats, and if it's stalking you, actually a guy right down the road here got attacked a couple years ago by a mountain lion. If that mountain lion is attacking you, you better do everything you can to fight off that mountain lion. And the guy here in town actually killed the mountain lion and drove himself to the hospital. You better do everything you can. You're not going to be reproducing at that moment, and so your body says, "Screw it! I need to make as much of this stress hormone as I possibly can, and not worry about the reproducing hormones, the estrogen, testosterone, all of those things." So here's what happens: is that we steal it, goes over that way, and we deplete the good DHEA, testosterone, all of those panels. And so what we have to do, especially with women, is one, we've got to get them out of that fight or flight state. That's why we look at the brain map, help do neurofeedback to calm down that brain, do relaxation techniques, help rebuild their adrenals, do all these things to help support and nourish and rebuild on that adrenal side so that they don't need as much on there. And then on the other side, potentially somebody might need some DHEA, might need some other support to help build up on that testosterone, but ultimately you want that body to be able to make it on its own. So for you women out there, most of the time it's because you're stealing it to go into this stress response. All right, so guys, stick with me here. So if any of you women listening, if your husband, okay, I'm not going to say if, the vast majority of your husbands are low testosterone as well. If they haven't been tested, they need to. But here's the reason why for guys, it's actually kind of twofold. So one, you've got this chronic stress response and you're not making enough. So it's kind of like I was hiking a couple weeks ago and saw this pond up in the woods, and they had, I don't know, 100 years ago, it's been there a long time, this dam and this pond behind it, and then you've got your stream coming in. So think of that pond as testosterone in a male, and you've got your production coming in from that stream, and then you've got your overflow over that dam. The overflow, unfortunately for guys, turns into what? Anybody know? Hey Carolyn, good to see you up there in West Virginia. So that testosterone overflows into estrogen. So if anybody was typing that out, I'll give you credit for getting that one. So here's where the problem is with guys: is the flow coming in is low. So they may not have the building blocks, they may be stressed out, they're depleted, their adrenals are overtaxed, and they're just not able to produce as much, but then the floodgates are open as well. And so this is where guys get man boobs. They start, I've had patients get hot flashes, their motivation, sex drive, everything just crashes down through there. And so some of these guys, they don't make enough, so it's already low in that pool, and then they're spilling too much out and the floodgates are open, and then that pool even goes lower, and I'll see testosterone 180, 200. We want to see most guys 500 to 600, and I see rarely somebody, but maybe 10% of the guys I see are in that range. Most are low. I see hundreds, 200s, 300s all the time. It's amazing. The research even shows in the last 50 years that it's been an average of 1% per year reduction in the amount of testosterone, and I've said in the past that we're less of a man now than our fathers and grandfathers were. I had somebody argue that, oh, so because you have low testosterone, you're not as manly or whatever. I'm like, that's kind of the definition. And if you look at the Olympics and women's sports and stuff, if a guy's competing as a woman, they have to have their testosterone low enough. So, they're more like a woman if their testosterone's lower, and that's where we are at this point. So for guys, you don't just want to start slathering up testosterone and get that stream flowing, and then the pool comes up, but then you have more flowing over into the floodgates, and you're actually spilling more into estrogen. So then what happens there? You even get more estrogen. You get bigger man boobs. The chance of stroke goes up dramatically. Just had somebody post on earlier on our page that they're a male, and that they were taking testosterone replacement therapy, and they ended up having a heart attack. And a big part of that is because it spills over into the estrogen, a higher potential for stroke and other issues issues through there. So for women, it's usually a production issue, and that you're so stressed out and anxious and worried and all these things, and you're not making enough into that pool of testosterone. For men, it's both. It's both a production issue as well as it can be that they are overflowing into that estrogen. So for guys, last thing you want to do is go get that pellet, go get the cream, whatever it is. Great, so you're taking some, Carlene's taking some adrenal support. So, that's great. I've seen people take adrenal supplements for 5 or 6 years, and yet they're still depleted. Their adrenals are still off. You've got to do a brain map. You've got to see what your brain is doing, see if there's anything that we need to do to calm that down. But I also say that the number one stressor to the adrenal glands is actually your blood sugar swings. So the swings, the highs, but especially the lows. So if you're crashing, if you're doing intermittent fasting, if you're doing any of these things where you're going too long without eating, where your blood sugar's crashing down, you are stressing out your adrenals. And it's even worse than jobs and cars and kids and COVID and presidents and whatever you want to worry about. So we know we've got to stabilize those adrenals, keep that blood sugar steady. You've got to, in guys, number one reason why we spill over into estrogen from testosterone is because of these blood sugar imbalances. For women, what we see is that they'll actually, some women that I expect to be low on their testosterone, they actually have elevated testosterone. And that's women that have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. They're going to create more cysts on their ovaries, but they'll actually have more testosterone. And that is directly from insulin resistance. So what's going on there? Let me know if you guys have, any of you ladies have heard of PCOS or had insulin resistance. But if you have, it's absolutely related to your blood sugar. You've got to get that stabilized. If somebody has excess testosterone as a woman, it's usually an insulin resistant blood sugar issue that needs to be resolved. So here's the deal. Don't just go slather up on a bunch of testosterone and think you're fine. I've seen so many people that after 2, 3, 4 months, they're feeling good, and then they crash. Their hormones are all out of balance, and they're not working as well as they should. So for women, we've got to build it up, get you out of that stress state, help those adrenals, calm that brain down, get more testosterone into the body naturally. For men, we have to do the same thing, but we also have to block that overflow, and we don't even want to, get things build up that much until we have you stop converting into estrogen. So you've got to check your testosterone, all 3 of your estrogens, your progesterone, your DHEA. We've got to run a thorough hormone panel to see where your body is at and get a good feel for what is going on there. So excited to go over this because it's such a confusing topic for so many people. They just think, oh, slather on some cream, take some pellet, do some little drop troche in the mouth, whatever. But ultimately, you've got to figure out the why. You've got to get to that underlying why your body's out of balance, and from there we can go step by step, course correct these imbalances. And if you've got any questions at all, give us a holler. Phoenix, Colorado, Nashville, Tennessee, but we can work with patients all over the country. So love to hear from you. Drop us any questions down below, and you guys make it a great day. Take care.